Life's best moments are best captured by photography and video. You may ask, why photography and video? Because if a photo is worth 1,000 words, video is worth 1,000,000. And GPS photography and video will leave you speechless. GPS specializes in weddings, swords, fitness, and so much more. Book your next shoot today at 910-257-0526 or gpsphotoandvideo.com.
Welcome to the Amazon's podcast. I'm Glenn Young, owner of Amazon's Fitness Magazine. Celebrate the female physique. Subscribe to AmazonsFitMag.com. The podcast is brought to you by title sponsor Maximus Posing Suits. Let your inner warrior shine. Custom-made competition suits for victory on every stage. MaximusPosingSuits.com. And Murder Weight Apparel, bronze level sponsor. You're not just wearing a clothing brand, you're wearing a mindset. Murderweight.com. And, of course, GPS photography and video. Why photography and video? Because if a photo's worth 1,000 words, video's worth 1,000,000. GPSphotoandvideo.com. And Amazon's Fitness Magazine is a publication of GPS photography and video. Joining me, NPC Figure Competitor, Sheena Williams. And how are you? So glad you could join.
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Not at all. Like I was saying earlier, I don't know what the temperature is in Texas, but it was 104 here today. So yeah,
it's only 99, but it feels like 105. It's hot.
Good stuff. So tell me how you got started.
I actually at the time was working at 24-hour fitness part-time. And one of the guys had asked me, have I ever competed before? I said, I don't know what you're talking about. You think of, I thought at the time bodybuilding, I thought of, the show that they used to have, Ultimate Warrior, no, it was Gladiator. They used to come on. That's what I thought when I thought of bodybuilding. Beyond that, I'd never even knew it was a thing. So I went to a show. I think that was the Heart of Texas, which is one of the longest running shows, bodybuilding shows here in Texas. I think this next year, there'll be 30 years that they're celebrating. Oh, wow. So went to that show and was just like, I think I can do that. Then, of course, went on YouTube and started doing a little bit more research. And the guy that actually had approached me at the gym, his girlfriend at the time was actually doing, she was a trainer. So I got with her and she ended up being my first coach. So from there, I did my first show in 2017 and have been doing it ever since.
So you grew up in Colorado. How'd you end up being in Texas?
So my father served in the military. He was in the Army. So we kind of moved all over. But we were in Colorado since 6th grade that was his final destination. He retired. So I was there from 6th grade to college and beyond. And then when I graduated high school, my parents moved to Texas. So just got tired of being in Colorado. Sometimes hometowns can be very suffocating. So just wanted to get out and just said, hey, I'm coming home. And they said, okay. And so packed up and I moved out here in 2012 and just never left.
And then, of course, get away from those winters in Carson.
Oh, I still, my brother lives there and I tell him I don't come home unless it's above 70 degrees. So nope, I can't do it.
That's ridiculous. He was at Fort Carson, right?
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. Good stuff. So now that you've been doing this for a while, what's your feel in it? You feel like you belong, and why figure? Will you always stay figure? You didn't consider
I've always done figure. When I first started, I remember my coach asked me at the time, she's like, well, what do you think, you could fall into. And I looked at myself. I said, well, I don't think my legs, my legs definitely would not come down to be bikini. That just wasn't going to happen. I ran
Right.
track in high school and middle school and stuff. So that backside and those thighs were not going to come down. So, just with the way my body is built, I've been able to grow into figure. So the passion is still there for it. So I love the way my body looks being a figure competitor. So
Right.
for me, I don't have any plans to move out of figure.
You're okay with the heels?
Yes, definitely okay with the heels. Now, could I probably do physique? Oh, maybe, but
Mhm.
I'm a quarter turns kind of girl at the moment, so I'm good with it.
Yeah. And how tall are you?
I am 5'1".
Okay. 5'1"?
5'1".
You look so much taller, obviously with the heels,
People
but
say
you
that,
line
and
up
then you see me
your
in
legs.
person, and that
Yeah.
is not
Wow.
my attitude might be 6'1", but I am 5'1".
Gracious. So, what do you love most about competing?
You know what? I think I've grown to love just the process. Every
Right.
time you do a prep, to me, it's you learn something different about yourself. There's always a challenge with every prep, but you kind of learn yourself more and more as you get deeper into it. I mean, I've been there where I've fallen out of love with it and thought about quitting. And then it's just like
Mhm.
something will happen to where it's just like, okay, now we're back in it. Focus is there and you just zoned out. And then when you finally get to stage day and makeup is done, the hair is looking nice, and you finally see that final everything come together, it's like, okay,
Yeah.
whatever happens is going to happen, but I know that, I put my foot into this and it'll be worth it, even if it's for those 10 seconds. So it's really the growth part of it. I've learned a lot about myself doing this process. I'm a lot stronger than I thought I was
Right.
by going through this. So yeah, it's the growth part for me at this point. So
That's great. So now you're on track. Are you in prep now?
I am.
Okay, so you just went in prep, or how long you been in prep?
I've So I was supposed to. I was shooting for NPC Masters Nationals, which
Hmm.
is like 2 weeks or something like that. But
Okay.
with work and everything, mentally, I didn't feel that I could get ready. And I told my coach, if I'm not ready, I'm not ready.
Right.
I'm locked in now, of course, but I'm at that point where I don't feel like I'm not going to push myself to get on stage just to get on stage. At this point, there's a goal to get the pro card. So um, it's been been on prep maybe like 6 weeks.
Okay.
So yeah, probably maybe I say official prep, but at some point you're kind of never out of
Right.
prep. It's just, things become stricter. So
And what show are you preparing for?
North Americans in
Okay.
Pittsburgh, which is
In
the
Pittsburgh. Yep.
last week in August. So about nine
Yep.
and a half weeks.
Big show.
That's you know
Oh, it
what
is.
I've done NPC Nationals like 2 years ago when it was in
Right.
Orlando,
Yeah.
and then I did North Americans last year, and that show Gary Udith, they run a tight ship, and
Hmm.
literally there was not a lot of wait time, which was good. So
Yeah.
we got on stage, did what we need to do, and everything ran really really smoothly for that many people for that big
Yeah.
of a production. It was a very well ran show for sure.
Good deal. And you didn't want to do nationals in Texas?
I did nationals in Texas last year.
Okay.
So I did North Americans, and then I did NPC Nationals
I was about to say,
last year in
okay.
Texas. Yeah, there was no excuse for me not to do it. It's literally down the street. So
There you go. Exactly.
yeah,
And
yeah.
there are a lot of great shows in Texas as well. So up and coming.
Literally two shows probably a month here in Texas,
Wow.
whether it's
Yeah.
Dallas, Houston,
Hmm.
uh, Austin, um, even down in like the Rio Grande area, they have shows now. So yeah, we're probably up there with California and Florida with as far as many
There
shows.
you go.
So if you are looking to do it, listen, you have a plethora of options.
Everything's big in Texas.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So what do you do when you're not competing?
I actually work full time.
Hmm.
I work in insurance, so
Okay.
that's why I'm still at work now, but I'm off. But still,
Oh,
I just
okay.
like,
Yeah,
let me
yeah,
just stay. There's no point in me going home and
yeah.
missing your call.
Oh, okay.
So
Well, thanks
yeah,
for
I've
hanging
been
out.
been doing that for almost 15 years. So
Okay.
yeah,
What part of the insurance industry? Just
I
overall,
work um, on the back end for a company. I do their in-house insurance claims.
or?
So
Okay.
yeah.
Good stuff. Very important because you ain't. It's always insurance something you always wish you had when you don't
There,
have
you know what? It's kind of like the medical field. There's always going to be
it.
claims. There's
Yes.
always going to be insurance. It's something that we all need. So
Yeah.
whether it's auto, life, liability, it's always going to be a job. So,
Yeah. So tell me about. You're also an entrepreneur. Uh, Tell me about your business.
so again, the name of my business, Will to Be Tanning. Like I
Will to be
said,
tanning.
it's Will to
Okay.
Be Tanning. Kind of play on my last name. So
Hmm.
I
There you go.
remember I asked my dad, what would be a good name, to where I can kind of incorporate it, but still not. And that's what he came up with. So I was like, we'll run with it. So, we offer tanning services for amateurs and pros. We've tanned Olympians, so in all categories. And it's something I stumbled upon.
Hmm.
Like I said, when I just, something I wanted to get involved in, something outside of just being a competitor.
Hmm.
And like I said, a friend introduced me to it, and I was like, oh, that's cool. I'm not the most talkative person. I'm just kind of, I get in where I fit in. If I don't need to
Right.
talk, I'm not going to talk, kind of very to myself. But tanning allows me to, those 20-30 minutes, you're with that person,
Right.
you're basically seeing somebody, pretty naked and very vulnerable at the time.
Yeah.
So, it's just you kind of learn how to talk to people and make them very
Yeah.
comfortable. So that part of it has been really fun. I've met really a lot of cool people. Just like you, when you interview, it's just like, you kind of get to hear people's story about, why they started
Hmm.
competing and, why they continue to do this and what their plans are. And, sometimes people just kind of open the floodgates and just start talking, just like, well, I didn't ask you all that, but thanks for sharing. But it's been a really cool part, just to be a part of someone else's show day. So
Now, tell me the breakdown. Getting someone ready for tanning. Because they'll come in, say check-ins on a Friday. When do they do that first coat?
So for with us or with me, we normally I try not to. With check-ins it's tricky because you don't know how many people are going to be there.
Hmm.
So we try to work around that part of it. Again, whether you're a pro or an amateur, it doesn't really matter. It's all the same process, to be honest with you.
Right.
But initially, tanning prep starts before you even get into the tent. So that week up to peak week is when you should be prepping your skin. So, making sure you shave,
Hmm.
making sure you moisturize, making sure you hydrate your skin, make sure that you are, exfoliating your skin because like with anything, it's just like a painter. When you're painting something, you want a clean canvas. You don't want to
Right.
have, and again, the tan can only do so much. So if you have scars and things like that, it's not gonna hide everything, or highlight everything, but we all have to do it as competitors. So that's really when it starts. And then of course when you're in the tent, we get you prepped, making sure
Hmm.
looking at the body, making sure, we can see what we need to see, every or how I learned to spray was there's different body parts that you want to highlight. If you're bikini, I want to make sure that
Hmm.
I'm focusing on, that backside because
Right.
that's what they're looking at. Your back,
That's their
yeah,
money shot.
in
Yeah.
it, but it's not so much, if you're men's physique, I don't really need to worry about your legs. We don't really care about your legs, but they still get tan, you know.
Right. Right.
But your chest, your shoulders, your back, those are areas that I want to make sure are looking how they need to look, you know.
Right.
And then again, we want to make sure everything is looking like it needs to be in case, you know, after the show, if you have shoots or anything like that, you want to make sure that everything rinses off good and you still don't look like you want to look stage ready, but except for the camera. So
Exactly.
to me, again, as being with me being a competitor, again, I've been through that process
Yeah.
of where you're getting herded into the booth, the tanning tent. It's just like it's
Yeah.
super cold and you're hungry and you're tired and you don't
Yeah.
want to really think about anything. So it's just making sure we do what we need to do, but also making sure we're doing it in an expedient manner to where we can get you in and out. You know, a tan shouldn't take 45 minutes. So
Yeah. And you got to be good. So only the best of the best know what they
listen,
doing. Yeah.
again, to me, the most important part of anything, whether it's your business or anybody else's business, is customer service. So I want to treat you like
Yep.
I want to be treated. You
That's
know, I
true.
want to make sure again that, you know, if you have any concerns, let me know. If there's an issue before, whether you're being late, text me, let me know. You know, so it's just
Mhm.
it's communication is really what it is. But again, it's customer service to me that should definitely show, because again, as an
Yeah.
athlete, you have prep brain. You don't think about everything that you're supposed to do. You forget, you know, I'm thinking about, I can't have no water right now. I'm thirsty. I'm thinking
Mhm.
about, I want to eat and put my feet up and go to sleep because I have to be up at 3 a.m. to get my makeup
Yeah.
done. So, you know, it's just taking those little things into consideration for the athlete. So
Now, do you recommend wax versus shaving, or does it matter? And how do you
I
deal with someone that
say
may have a
I
rash
say
or a
if you
breakout?
wax, make sure that you do it maybe 2 or 3 days before, because that way
Okay.
you can make sure that that area has calmed down and it's not too sensitive.
Mm,
And then also too, sometimes you want to make sure there's no additional residue. You know, there's no wax that's left there.
got you.
So you just want to make sure, again, you want a clean canvas. And again, you just want to make sure that area is calmed down from any irritation.
Okay.
Shaving, you can shave the day before, you know,
Mm,
but I also would say with guys, shave also, because your
mhm.
legs, you don't have to worry about it unless you're a bodybuilder. You know, if you're
Right.
a bodybuilder or, you know, classic, then you're going to have to shave everything. If you're men's physique, still take time to shave at least under your arms and maybe your chest. Because again,
Okay.
when you're doing, you know, when you're putting your hand up, you know, to move around on the stage or depending on what pose you do, nobody wants to see that. Again, it's a show that you're putting
Yeah.
on. So it's
Yeah.
aesthetics, you know. So even I tell guys also, get your feet done. That's
Mhm.
if you're on stage, I mean, yeah, the judges might not be able to see it, but again, it's the whole part of the look. You want to look
Right.
like you want to look the part. And plus, I mean, take the time to have somebody rub on your feet for an hour, fall asleep,
Yeah.
have a good nap. You know, treat yourself.
It's all
So,
about, like you said, aesthetics and everything that's being shown
right.
to see it. Because you only walking there, everybody, dude, look at your feet. You know, yeah, the judges may not see it, but everybody else gonna see them hammer toes.
Yes, we do. I'm not saying you got to get them polished, but I'm just
Yeah,
saying, you
but
know,
yeah, you want to be looking good.
treat yourself a little bit, you know, you're putting your body through so much in those 12, 16 weeks. So that
Mhm.
final week when you should be resting and getting your mind right, you know, take a
Yeah.
little extra time to treat yourself.
How do you handle someone that may have an outbreak or a skin irritation for something they did or whatever, and their rider said, "Hey, I tried this, different kind of stuff to wax, and I had a breakout." How do you deal with that? Because you basically got an open sore.
Right. So, and I've had people that have, you know, have bought other products online, they use it, and then
Mhm.
they see me and they're just like, "Hey, can you fix this?" And it's like,
Yeah.
can't necessarily fix it. You know, I can try to cover it as best as I can. But again, the body's going to do what it's going to do. Again, it's just like makeup. The tanning solution isn't going to cover everything. It's
Right.
not a magic eraser. You know what I'm saying? So if you have, you know, a scar or anything like that, there's products out there that can do, you know, there's things like tattoo cover ups that you can use on, you know, certain parts to where you can apply that first and then tan over to where it's not as noticeable.
Hmm.
But again, there's only so much that can be done. So, we can make it look as presentable as possible, but again, it's not magic.
How do you deal with tattoos?
I have
Because
tattoos.
sometimes people that's the thing is wonder if it's a takeaway from judges or not. But do you try to conceal them, or what do you do?
I've heard even Tyler Mannion say it's not a big deal. There's people that
Mhm.
are tatted, there's people that are not. I would say as long as it's not distracting. There's people that
Right.
have whole sleeves that maybe they want to cover up. Again, there's products for that can actually cover up tattoos. But does it look good on everyone? Not necessarily.
Mhm.
It just depends on, does it make it look, sometimes it can make it look a little bit more cakier. It can make a little bit more gray. It makes the color
Right.
look not as crisp as it could. And again, you're standing under stage lights that could have a different effect on it. So
Right.
what I see in my tent could be different, is going to be different than what's going to be seen on stage or what's going to be captured by camera.
Right.
So sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But to be honest with you, like I said, I have tattoos.
Mhm.
I've never covered mine up. So,
Mhm.
again, the physique is going to show through whether you're tatted or not. But
Right. And the biggest thing about that, when they do a show, especially if it's a stream, they'll say the lighting was horrible or their tan was horrible. And it's like, dang if you do, damn if you don't. How do you deal with that? If because you never know how the lighting is going to be set up, more or less. I mean, you may have an idea, but do you really try to study how light is going to affect the type of tan versus pigmentation versus going darker, going lighter? What are the things you run into when it comes to that?
When I'm tanning, I have lights. I have
Hmm.
light inside the tent. I have a light standing outside of the tent. Then I'll pull people out of the tent to even look at them in the natural light.
Right,
So, and again, depending on where we're doing the tanning, that lighting in there could be horrible.
right,
It just depends. So again, and even again, even if I'm not tan, what I see in the mirror under my lights and at the gym are going to be totally different than what's being seen on
right,
stage, because you're dealing with two different lights. So we can only control what we can. So I
right,
can do what I can to make sure when you step out of the tent or when you leave me, that everything looks how it's supposed to look. So even when you go back to your hotel room, if there's, that Friday night, if your
right,
coach is like, hey, I think you need to go a little bit darker, when you come back in the morning for your touch up, then we could be
right,
like, okay, this is what my coach said. It'll be like, okay, we'll go ahead and do that extra coat, touch it up, and make sure if we need to go darker. Or if you, like you said, if someone has, maybe they slept really horrible and
yeah,
it's just all messed up. Okay,
yeah,
go ahead and do a rinse really quick,
yeah,
and then just let it, the color will still kind of develop, but then we'll come back and fix it, when you come back in the morning. So that's when people don't come back for touch up, sometimes they don't need to, but
right.
that's what that additional appointment is for you to make sure that I can put eyes on you again to make sure that everything looks how it's supposed to look before you step on stage.
And the person will come directly back to you.
Yes.
Okay, so
Yeah,
you
the
you
only
follow
thing,
them all
again,
the way
in my
through.
situation, since if
Mm.
I'm not the host vendor, because out of respect for
Right,
them, I'm not going to go to the vending location and
right,
touch you up or anything like that.
right,
That's their domain. They do that. But what I can do, again, like I said, you come back to me, is again put eyes on you. If I'm still there, if I'm traveling and if I'm able to stay there throughout the remainder of the day, and you need an
hmm,
additional touch up, especially for pros, because again, they go on at a certain time, then they come back earlier. So for pros, sometimes you go that a little bit of extra mile. To me, you've earned it. You're a pro.
right, right,
So you want to make sure that you offer those additional services to them, if needed. Again, it's
yeah,
I try to do what I can, but sometimes I'm up and out. After I check out, I'm done. I got to
yeah.
get back on the road to go home, and I got
There
to
you
train
go.
myself. So yeah.
How many coats would you end up doing? You do the base coat, like I said, they check in on Friday, they'll get their coat, that first coat, and then they will come back after makeup in the morning, or how does that work? Well,
Um,
guys won't be doing makeup, but yeah.
I mean,
Some
some
of them
guys
might.
do. Some
Yeah,
guys,
some
it
guys do.
actually benefits them to actually
Yeah.
get actual, if you're coming up and you're, you know, say you're super fair and
Yeah.
your face is this color, but your body is my color, it's
Right.
very distracting on stage. It can
Yes.
be. It can take away from, again,
Saw
the
that recently.
overall
Yeah.
look that you're trying to
Hmm.
get. So some people, if that's what you want to do and you're comfortable with it and it makes sense for you to do it, I say do it.
Yeah.
The guys, you're not paying as much as we are as women competitors to get a full face of makeup.
Right.
So sometimes it's worth it, but again, it's all about scheduling. If for women, I try to schedule around makeup appointments, so you might come a little bit earlier or you might come
Hmm.
a little bit later. It depends on how that show is ran. Some shows here, like in Texas, they put women, the guys go at 11, so the girls don't go until 3 o'clock.
Right.
So with that, it's a little bit more, it's you can finagle it a little bit more as far as the schedule for the touch up. But for
Hmm.
me, I do 2 coats in on Friday, and then like I said, the touch up might not be another full coat. It might just be
Hmm.
looking at you, like I said, if you're a bikini competitor and you might have, slept wrong, or you're trying on your bikini and you might
Hmm.
have smudges, on your rear or on your quads or on your thighs. Then we'll
Right.
look at that and we'll touch those areas up. So it just depends on what's needed.
Gotcha. And obviously, will they have time to do a touch up between prejudging and finals? Do you recommend that, or you just gonna look them over and just see?
And it depends on the vendor. Some people do,
Right.
some people don't. So, I mean, some people can fix you right when you're in line getting glued and glazed. Other people, again, you might not need it. So
Right.
again, it depends on how that show is being ran. Some shows you're going back to back, so there's no need for a touch up. So
Right.
sometimes, like if they do like the guys in the morning at 11, they're doing, they're going right into awards right after that. So they're
Right.
done, by 3 o'clock. And then, but same thing with the girls. So again, it just depends on the factors around the show, the schedule, and what's needed.
How many would you say you've done in a given show?
Again, it depends.
Yeah.
I've been a part of teams where, like I said, I've helped out at
Hmm.
actual shows to where, like here, the biggest show here, or one of the biggest shows, is the Battle of Texas. Or now it's the Texas Pro that they
Yeah.
have in
Yep.
August.
Yep.
So I would say maybe like 2, 3 years ago, the Battle of Texas, I want to say, had at least almost 800 people cross that stage.
Wow.
And that's probably with crossover as well. But that
Right.
show, that was a lot of bodies, and even with a team of
Yeah.
people, seasoned people, you're up all day. Like you're getting up
Right.
at 3 o'clock in the morning and you're not getting done, until I think maybe like 1 o'clock,
Yeah.
but again, that's what you sign up for. But
Yeah.
again, it's exciting to be able to see, people get their, people do their first show, or pros, get their bid to the Olympia, seeing that in person,
Yeah. Knowing you
seeing
were
that
part of
behind the
that.
stage.
Yeah.
It's to me, it's worth it. Like I said, I've been able to meet a lot of different people. So it's a long day, but also
Hmm.
it's rewarding at the same time to be, a part of someone's show day. But me individually, I think the most I've had is maybe 20 people, because
Hmm.
and business wise, it's me. I'm the
Hmm.
business. I'm the person,
Right.
doing the everything. So the goal is to eventually have it bring on, other people, to, kind of share this with. But for the moment, it's just me. But again,
Yeah.
I take pride in that. And like I said, I take pride in what I do. Um, and hopefully, anyone that has been a client of mine and repeat clients, they'll hopefully
There
tell
you
you the
go.
same thing. So
Do you do your own tanning
I
or no?
do.
Okay.
Sometimes, well, I say that the last couple shows, yes, I've done it myself. So
Okay. Well, how do you
yeah,
get the back?
man, listen, it takes some maneuvering. And especially, let me tell you, when you start cramping, trying to
Uh huh.
get back there, because as a bodybuilder, you can only,
Yeah.
can only get so
Exactly.
much.
Exactly.
But yeah, it was a challenge, but it got done.
What what are the costs involved? How much does it cost to get a tan? And do you sponsor people?
I have not sponsored people. I've worked with other companies that have,
Okay.
they have sponsored athletes. Um, but that's something again that I'm looking to do in the future. Like I said, I
Mhm.
have regular people that I normally tan on a regular basis.
Right.
But um, as far as cost, I would say, I mean, generally speaking, a tan, again, if you're doing a 1 day show or 2 day show, tans maybe range from anywhere from 140 to up to probably 175 on the high end.
Mhm. Mhm.
But again, it depends on what they're offering. So again, most tanning companies, you'll get the same thing. You'll get the first coat, and then you get the touch-up coat in the morning. Some people do three.
Yeah.
That's just how they do it. Um, and then again, it just depends on if you are you doing a national show or are you doing a local show.
Right.
So it just depends. But and then again, some people don't. They would rather just do it themselves, which is, if you can do it, do it. Save your money. As an
Yeah.
athlete, trust me, I understand that this sport is not cheap,
Yeah.
by any stretch of the imagination. So if anybody tells you otherwise, listen,
Yeah.
they have the money to do it, and they're doing it as, yeah, this is a hobby, but it's an expensive hobby,
It is.
especially as a female competitor, because you can even, you can buy some great board shorts. You can spend your
Yeah.
money on, the chulas, which are great shorts,
Mhm.
dark sport and things like that. But suits cost money,
Yeah.
for women.
They do.
So,
Yeah.
and if you're doing, if you're a bodybuilder, a female bodybuilder, you're having to get, you have your posing suit, and then you have another suit
Yep.
that
Gotta have
you,
two.
that you do. So you have two. If you do fitness, you have a whole posing suit, and then you have your actual fitness outfit. So
Yeah.
then you have heels, makeup, hair,
Mhm.
nails, and then again your tan.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
it
And
adds up
between tan and makeup, you're easily up around 350, $400. And then of course the
easily.
lodging and then everything else that goes with that. So yeah.
Easily. It adds up. So again, when people say, I'm taking a break, I get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you have to focus on other things, this is a choice.
Right.
This isn't, some people are blessed enough to where they can make it a career, but this is, some of us have, again, regular jobs, families, other
Yep.
people that, other
You're right.
responsibilities. So
You're right. An expensive hobby, but it's really not a hobby.
no,
Yeah.
no, it's, we say it's a hobby, but it's so much more. It's so much deeper
Right.
than that. The stage, if you allow it to, if you make that a part of your journey, it could be
Right.
a lot deeper than that.
Definitely. Definitely. Turning back to figure, who's your favorite figure competitor? Who's your
I mean, Sid
motivator? Who's your
Gillen,
idol?
the
Sid
the
Gilliam.
the
Oh yeah.
queen.
I mean, I could have
you
probably
know.
guessed that, but I wanted to make sure.
Oh no. I mean, there
Yeah.
are a lot of, like, again, I don't. She's the tip of the, she is the standard.
Yep.
There are a lot of, but there
She's
are a
the tip
lot
of the
of
spear.
great
Yep.
female figure athletes. There's Jessica Padilla out of Austin.
Mm-hmm.
There's Lola, who just got third.
Lola Montez. Yep.
Zenobia. Um, there's a lot. I mean, honestly, every figure show I try to tune in, or at
Mm-hmm.
least see, the faces, because you don't know everyone, and even
Right.
there's always somebody new.
Right.
So like I said, when we have figure shows here in Texas, I do my best
Mm-hmm.
to try to make it to see, because
Right.
again, these are people that are on the level that I'm trying to get to. So you can always learn something from everybody.
Gotcha. Figure, women's physique, and women's bodybuilding is always catching the most shade of the six divisions. Um, how can you fix that? How do you market figure? Because figure came in late as being, I call it, attacked. Women's bodybuilding, yeah, was number one, and then women's physique, and then you saw, and everybody brings up the Arnold's, but the thing with figure, I thought was good to go, But how do you market figure, your division?
Um, Again, with any division, I think it's just support. I mean, you have
Right.
channels like yours, you have the female bodybuilding channel, you have figure athletes who have started their own channels,
Yeah.
on IG to kind of promote it. I think also, with any of our categories, it starts at the NPC. Get
Right.
people energized about, when we have, these figure shows, try to hype it up as much as possible. But then again, money, you know,
Yep. That's true.
I've seen an increase because I do help out at some of the shows, like doing trophies and things like that. So I get to see, I've seen a lot of shows recently where there are a lot more figure competitors that are jumping in. Like I said, recently at nationals, I have never seen that many. I think nationals here in Dallas went up to H, I
Mm.
think. I've never seen that many figure competitors at a national show or even at a regular show. So that was really exciting to see that many girls, stepping on stage to be figure. Because again, it is one of those, everybody can't be wellness just because you have, the
No.
thicker legs or, a
And
big butt,
that's a
that
misnomer. That's a
does not
false
make you
narrative too.
wellness.
That's a false narrative too. That I got a big butt, I can do wellness, or I can
No,
do bikini.
wellness is
Not
hard.
true. Yeah.
Wellness is hard. I've had a couple of friends that switched from figure to wellness, or from bikini to wellness, and it is tough.
Different animal.
Those girls that takes time to build that.
Yeah.
That takes time
Yeah.
to build that. So kudos to all the wellness girls, but it's um just again, it's newer. It's something. It's like, oh yeah, I can jump into it. But again, I think figure it is a slow burn as well. It's
Hmm.
something you have to build the muscle. You have to build the X frame. You have to, it's balance. You have to build it.
Right.
It takes time. I look back at some of my pictures of when I first started, and I'm just like, ooh, we have come a long way. On those days where I'm just
Yeah.
like, why am I doing this? I look back at those pictures and I'm just like, you've really built something that you can be proud of. So I think you just have to get the excitement about it again.
Yeah.
It's, you know, who's excitement? Who's going to be, is Sid going to win again for 8 times in a row? Who can
Yeah.
take her out?
Exactly.
Can she be taken out? Is she going to have to sit down before someone else gets crowned? That's exciting.
Yeah,
That's
it is.
exciting to see. Can she do it? You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
then it's just like, who else can represent this division and hype it up? I think she's doing a
Yeah.
wonderful job. She's giving back by offering her own show. You know what I'm
Yeah. The
saying?
Sid Gibson
Which
Classic.
is
Yeah.
right,
And the
which
Triple
is
O Dynasty.
exactly, which is amazing,
Yeah.
that they all three came together to do that show or to bring it together again. So it's outlets like that. It's outlets. Oh, what's the Wings of Strength, shows like that
Hmm.
that cater to women's divisions and
Right.
building excitement about it and having prize money that these ladies can actually get excited about.
Right.
When
You
you
think
have,
that's the draw? Prize money will
I
bring
think
out
I
more.
think it is, but I think again it's marketing. Are promoters willing to take a chance on
Right.
marketing and drumming up enough money to get it? Because at the end of the day, even with Arnold, I think to me it's money,
Hmm.
which you can't blame them. You know what I'm saying? But
Business decision.
you want to have support behind a division that you're passionate about. So will it get there? I definitely think so. Just like with women's bodybuilding, it's exciting.
It is.
It's really exciting and it's really dope to see people get excited about women's bodybuilding again. But I think again, just having the opportunities, just need more opportunities.
Yeah. The build up is there for sure. It's
Yeah.
gonna be a great Olympia. And we're
Oh,
not done yet. There's about 7, 8 shows. And it's not about who's in, it's about who's gonna be on the outside looking in. So it's lots more to come.
right,
Olympia is 15, 16 weeks away. And so let's just see how it all shakes out. But yeah, you're right. It's exciting to watch.
right.
Last question. I'm going to let you out on this one. What are your short term and long term goals?
Short term, I want my pro card.
Okay, so that's North American.
That is the goal right now. Like I said, for like 2 years ago, I wasn't sure if I wanted to still compete because just kind of felt burnt out, doing shows after
Right.
shows and not really taking an actual off season to actually grow and to kind of get my mind back right. Because,
Hmm.
even it's a sport, but, it's more of the mental gymnastics and the physical. It's to me, to me, it's easy to get up and go to the gym, but those days where you're just mentally drained and, it's just like, I don't want to eat rice and cod anymore. I want to
Yeah.
go be fat,
Yeah.
I want to go, drink. I want to go on vacation. I don't want
Hmm.
to be restricted, but,
Right.
you kind of put things back into perspective and remember your whys of why you're doing this and the ultimate goal. I made a promise to myself that I would do this and see it through.
Right.
When my grandmother passed 2 years ago, I told her, "Hey, I'm just gonna do it." She said, "I don't see
Yeah.
why you don't."
Yeah.
So that's a promise, that I told I would keep. So you just remember the whys of why you're doing it. And like I said, short term is to get my pro card. uh, Long term goals, I don't, for me personally, right now, I'm not just like, oh, I'm going to go to the Olympia.
Hmm.
It's not ever a goal. I mean, it's not a goal currently of mine. But pro card, pro show, well, those are short term goals. Long term is to just grow my business. Support other people that are looking to do this. Like you said, be an advocate for a figure. If someone asks, what is it like to be a figure athlete? Be honest. Get them excited about doing it,
Hmm.
and just nurture other people that are coming into this sport. Finding various ways to give back. You
Yeah.
know, so to me, that's how you build. That's how you see Sid Gillens and other people building legacies outside of just being on stage. So I won't always be on stage, but I definitely can see myself, you know, still giving back some way to the sport that I feel has given me a lot. I've met a lot of people in
Hmm.
this sport, a lot of people that are now I consider family, in this sport. A friend of mine that I tan him, he just had a baby,
Hmm.
and I was like, well, Auntie Sheena is, here if y'all need a babysitter, so
Good
it's
deal.
things like that still make this sport exciting. So
Sheena Williamson, NPC Figure Competitor. Thanks for coming on the podcast.
thank you for having me so much. And again, thank you for offering a platform for female athletes to come on. It's
Glad
great to see you.
glad to be doing it. So, and definitely down the road, we got to get this photo shoot in so you can be in the magazine as well. So now, that-
Listen,
now that I know you're
yes,
close.
sir. Hey, I'll be there.
All right, good stuff. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
Bye now. Sheena Williamson, NPC Figure Competitor. So glad she come on. Got her own business, Will to Be Tanning. Love talking to competitors who are entrepreneurs and have their own business because it's always great to promote them as well. And again, that was a way you can support a competitor, support their business. Obviously those that are maybe opposing coach or online coaching as well. But when you see someone that has a business that you can use in your own day-to-day life, hey, support them because that way you can help them out. Coming up tomorrow night on the podcast, Amanda Snooks at 6:30 p.m. So we want to check it out and see what she's been doing. She got her pro card, of course, last year. So we're going to check in with her and see what's going on and if she'll do a pro debut this year or next year. And then at 7:30, Sheena Oleg. She's getting ready for her next show. We're going to sit down and talk to her as she's making her bid to go to the Olympia this year. She's back. She's looking great. And so can't wait to talk to her again on the podcast. And then at 8:30, Tracy Gall. She's on a tear on her way to the Olympia women's physique. And so Hey, excited to talk to her as well. I'm Glenn Young for Amazon's Fitness Magazine. Celebrate the female physique. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, Amazon's Fitness Magazine, and of course, subscribe to the website, amazonsfitmag.com. I will see you tomorrow.